Good morning, Uday and Bhargav. Today is Thursday, November 16th, and here's the heads up brief for today. Today's production to our clients consisted of a total of 72 issues. We covered 37 issues in East Asia Pacific, 18 issues in South Asia, and 17 issues in the EMEA region. I'll be briefing you on the major issues of today's production.
Hey, Bassel, thank you. Let's move on to the major issues today, please.
In East Asia Pacific, I'll be covering the top 3 of the 37 issues. Multiple pro-Palestine protests and rallies are scheduled to take place in Indonesia and Australia tomorrow and on November 19th. A protest will be held at the National Monument in central Jakarta on November 19th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. local time. Another protest will be held outside Parliament House in Adelaide, South Australia tomorrow at 6 p.m. local time. We released an APAC advisory on this today.
All right, thanks. Let's keep monitoring the situation and updating plans.
Sure. In Malaysia, the Prime Minister's office, along with the Malaysia Productivity Corporation, will organize a 3-day program at the Bukit Jalil National Stadium in Kuala Lumpur from December 8th to 10 to commemorate the Madani government 1-year anniversary. The program will be held between 9 a.m. and 10 p.m. local time on all 3 days. The main aim of the program is to promote and increase the public's awareness of the new government's initiatives and policies. We also released an APAC advisory on this today.
This is interesting considering a lot of critics of the government have questioned what the government has done in the last year, other than try to project an image. So let's see what comes out of this, but thanks for sending an advisory out.
In Myanmar, following the anti-military operations launched by the Brotherhood Alliance on October 27th, clashes between resistance groups and the military have intensified across the country. The military has lost control over numerous bases and security outposts, particularly in Chin, Mandalay, and Rakhine states over the past few weeks. We covered this as the major development in Southeast Asia today.
Yeah, this is intensifying, and it seems that Operation 1027 could really change the tide of the trajectory of the conflict. So I know there's an assessment coming out on this at the end of the week, but let's just keep a very close eye on this moving ahead. Thanks.
Sure. In South Asia, I'll be covering the top issue of the 18 issues. In Bangladesh, the Election Commission announced that the 12th national parliamentary polls will be held on January 7th, 2024. According to the Chief Election Commissioner, the date for nomination papers to be submitted by November 30th, after which they will be assessed by December 4th. The last date for the withdrawal of candidatures is December 17th. The election body will allot election symbols to candidates on December 18th. Also, the election campaign will run from December 18th to January 5th, 2024 midnight. Multiple political parties have declared nationwide strikes to protest the Election Commission's schedule for the elections. This includes the opposition Ganatantra Mancha Alliance, the Bangladesh Labour Party, and the Left Democratic Alliance. We covered this as a major development in South Asia today.
All right. So to some extent, the declaration of the election dates is a positive development. But at the same time, the opposition parties have called to question the very integrity of Election Commission, as the ruling government has not ceded power to a caretaker government. And that is likely to cause more controversy and widespread protests, as they have already declared. And the election results are also likely to be contested by the opposition parties. So let's keep track of how things evolve at the ground level. Thank you.
Sure, Bhargav. In EMEA, I'll be covering the top 2 of the 17 issues. In DRC, President Felix Tshisekedi will launch his presidential campaign at the Martyr Stadium in Kinshasa on November 19th. Opposition presidential candidates and other candidates running for parliamentary and municipal elections are also expected to launch campaign rallies in major urban areas, including Lubumbashi and Kolwezi. The official campaign period for general elections will commence on November 19th until December 18th. Thousands of supporters of the presidential, parliamentary, and municipal election candidates are expected to attend campaign rallies on November 19th. We conveyed this to our clients via an advisory message today.
Yes, please focus on our clients' interests in the country and also track historically how volatile has the election period been in this particular state, especially Congo has a history of assassinations as well. So please keep track of the political violence as well as the rallies which are likely to take place in the coming weeks and months.
Very well noted. Concerning the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, here's an update. The United Nations Security Council yesterday passed a resolution for the release of hostages held by Hamas and extended humanitarian pauses. The resolution did not mention a ceasefire. The US abstained from voting on the resolution. Also, Israel has rejected it, noting that there will be no extension of humanitarian pauses as long as 239 hostages are still held captive by the militant group. President Joe Biden has said that it is not realistic to expect Israel to stop the war. Qatar yesterday attempted to negotiate an agreement between Israel and Hamas for the release of 50 Israeli hostages in exchange for a 3-day ceasefire. We conveyed this to our clients via advisory message today as well.
Right. So the current scenario is quite troublesome at every level. But at the same time, we got to consider there's a lot at stake for Israel to even consider ceasefire. Now, the failure in trying to negotiate or mediating between Israel and Hamas by Qatar, that is unsurprisingly has failed to a greater extent and is unlikely to succeed in the short term either. Because if they compromise on any of the components, Israel is ceding territory to Hamas and their prominence in Gaza city or the Gaza territory. And that's something what IDF or Israeli political spectrum will not agree to. So we'll have to monitor how things evolve. And as Biden mentioned, it is unrealistic because taking hostages is very hard to justify at every level, law enforcement or otherwise.
Yes, thanks, Bhargav, for the explanation. That's the heads up brief for today. Anything else from your end?
Nothing else from my end. Thank you.